Quinlan Vos appears only once in Star Wars. And that really is just in one episode of Star Wars The Clone Wars in the third season, The Hunt for Ziro. Hi, I'm Drew Kaplan, Star Wars Maven. Yes, I know there are a couple other sort of appearances, which I'll discuss later on. But when we see him, he first arrives. Already, before he even arrives, we hear this interesting conversation between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Commander Kobe.
Sir, you seem troubled.
Quinlan Vos has that effect.
Ah, yes. That Jedi has quite a reputation.
Maybe overstating it, Cody. Let's just say he's crazy. Hey, Kenobi!
So clearly he has a reputation, an interesting character for sure, and then he jumps out of the LAT Republic gunship. From the way that Quinlan Vos is speaking,
hey, Commander, looking good? Kenobi, you look worse for wear.
he's giving off this like surfer vibe, just like sort of a nonchalant, just like he's got his tan skin, his like dreads, and this like yellow line going across his face. He's definitely someone different, someone the likes of which we have not seen as a Jedi before.
How's temple life? Good to see you too.
Yes, well, if you could tell time half as well as you could stick a landing, we wouldn't be behind schedule now, would we?
Clearly, he's not the most timely person, and certainly not the most timely Jedi. I don't know how strange that might be for Jedi if he's really such an outlier. It's also interesting his comment about how's temple life, that he's out there in the galaxy. He's living as a Jedi, not just with books and not just studying, but he's really out there doing things. Interesting that he's living. He's not a bookish person, really.
Well, that's your opinion, man.
Let's get down to business.
And then he also shrugs it off with this almost like a throwback to Big Lebowski.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
With Kenobi's response, it seems as if Vos and Kenobi have had previous interactions, and Kenobi is already getting frustrated with him.
I owe Bane one anyway. I'll fly. You're my co-pilot.
I was afraid he'd say that.
Now, as they're loading into the ship, Vos makes a comment about Bane, which sounds like they've had an interaction or two previously, but also his claim of piloting does not make Kenobi happy and seems to further frustrate him.
I'm beginning to think you're the ones who broke him out.
Wanta. And why would the great Hutt families do such a thing?
That's what I'd like to know.
Quinlan, the Hutts are our allies.
Shubag.
With this line of questioning on now Hutta to the Hutts, it's unclear if Quinlan Vos is naively asking them, ruffling their feathers, or if it's a more strategic push to get things going.
Leave here alive.
Now, with this, what's really fascinating, this is what makes Quinlan Vos really special. Certainly, as we've seen amongst the Jedi, these psychometric abilities of touching an object and getting a sense of the people or the creatures that have had interactions with it.
Ziro was here. He was holding one of those cups.
Kenobi actually acknowledges appreciation, and it's actual real praise from Kenobi. It's not simply frustration so far, really, in this episode, we've just seen Kenobi being frustrated with Quinlan Vos, but here it's a real sense of appreciation.
I understand your tracking talent, but why wouldn't Ziro leave the planet? Why not just fly away?
My senses tell me that he's still here.
It's illogical. He knows he's being looked for here.
Something is keeping him here.
Which way have they gone?
Well, since you're suddenly so interested in my tracking abilities, they went this way.
Despite Kenobi saying,
"We must be cautious."
Quinlan Vos then recklessly slashes his lightsaber, destroying the doors. Totally unnecessary and quite reckless. On Teth, Vos and Kenobi find a dead Ziro the Hutt, but they do also encounter Cad Bane. Now, we see Cad Bane and both of these Jedi fighting. Okay, it's neat, nothing particularly special here. Ultimately, out of these interactions in this one episode, it's really fascinating to watch Quinlan Vos. He's a fun character. He is really, in many ways, the opposite of Obi-Wan Kenobi, in the sense that Obi-Wan Kenobi is like very on the straight and narrow. Quinlan Vos is just doing his own thing. Yet, what makes him valuable is the set of psychometric abilities that allow him to touch an object and get a sense of where these people are. We see him tracking at some point in the episode, which is really neat. really fascinating things going on. Now, I mentioned earlier that there were a couple other appearances. One, apparently in the background in The Phantom Menace. Yeah, right there. He's there in The Phantom Menace. Okay, there's a yellow strip across the face. I don't know if that really is him or not, but apparently it is. The other is in the 6th season episode of Destiny, in which he's in this sort of illusion that Yoda experiences. Okay, but neither of those do we really learn much about him, or is he really much there? This all leads, by the way, up to this really fascinating book, Star Wars Dark Disciple. I would put on my top 10 of Star Wars books. Really good book. It's, as you can see, he's right there on the cover, along with Asajj Ventress. Really solid book. One of my top 10 Star Wars books. It takes place during the Clone Wars. It actually was meant to be 8 episodes. 2 full 4-episode story arcs, 8 full episodes of Star Wars: The Clone Wars, which, you know, it got ended before it got restarted. And but at least we got this really good story, and we get to read more about Quinlan Vos. I hope this was helpful in learning about Quinlan Vos. If you liked it, please like, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you.